going back about maybe 7 years ago, all right, I invited my friend, my classmate from my school to attend the Essential Kangen workshop. Okay, so he couldn't make it. Instead, he sent his son. He sent his son to attend the Essential Kangen workshop. So the son then was working for Shangri-La Hotel. Everybody would have heard of the five-star Shangri-La Hotel. So he came in to attend the workshop, and like halfway through, he was blown away. He was looking at the global partnership program, and when he saw the 8-point system, he saw the when we got to 2A and 3A commissions, right? He was so excited. And we were not even talking about the overriding commissions yet. That was just a pure direct sales commission. All right. So Thomas Yap came and joined me as a result of attending the Essential Kangen workshop. Just like Simon Low. Simon Low really saw the business of the Kangen business after attending the Essential Kangen workshop. And so did my son, Ning Wei, one of the speakers in the Essential Kangen workshop. If not for the Essential Kangen workshop, he wouldn't be in the Energic business today. So a lot of people came into the Energic business arising from them attending the Essential Kangen workshop. So the Essential Kangen workshop, for those people who have just joined us today, is happening this weekend. All right, perhaps Simon, you can type in the link there as well in the on Facebook as well as on Zoom call. So Thomas Yap also. Now, when I first went to India, Thomas Yap was the one who went with me. Okay, I remember the entire episode. When we arrived in India, we were going to Goa. So we landed in India, Mumbai airport at about like midnight, and we had to wait in the airport for 6 hours to catch a flight to Goa. And I remember the episode. So Thomas, are you in the room now?
Yes, I'm in.
Right, okay, I'm going to hand the floor to you now. Thomas 6A2-2, and this is the guy who helped me open up India. Over to you, India. Over to you, Thomas.
Yeah, let's give a big round of applause to Thomas.
Thank you, Sam. Anyways, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you guys are. First of all, I want to thank everyone for being here. Thanks, Sam. And I think I just want to say that I have so much gratitude for you inviting me into the Kangen business to actually take the risk to say, hey, do you want to join or do you want to take a look? If that wasn't happening, if that never happened, I've never seen the life I'm living today. So I just wanted to share this not only as a gratitude to Sam, but I want everyone to understand this, that every time you approach somebody's life is about to change. If you're always thinking about we're afraid to be rejected, we're afraid to get a no, and so on and so forth, you're not seeing the other side. The other side is the possibility of someone actually finding a way to live the life that you want. So if you held back, if you're afraid and you stop doing it, you are actually robbing people of their possibility of living the life that they want. So, thanks Sam for being, so blatant and straightforward, and showing me this opportunity. So I hope this inspires, hope what Sam has did for many people inspires you to reach out to more people, to show this business to people. So thank you, Sam. Thank you. And thank you, Cora. Thank you. Basically the whole family. And Michael Saw as well. You were there in my beginning years of my Kangen journey. Yeah, it's always there giving advice. I come to office after 1 week, no sales. I'm so down, and Michael Saw comes and give me encouragement. He talks to me, so even though he's not even in my upline, or anything. So I attribute a lot of not only my success, but why I didn't quit because of the events that was happening on a weekly basis. So this is the events that is happening that helped me stick into the business. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. A lot of gratitude to this, but I think let's jump into the topic because there's so much to share today. All right. So today I'll be sharing the X factor. And some of you are probably thinking like, what is the X factor? And I purposely didn't put in what exactly it is. But here's what I'm going to promise you. By the end of today, you're going to see that inviting people is easier. You're going to see that inviting people to your events are easier. Inviting people to see your demos are easier. Inviting people to buy the machine is easier. I'm going to be sharing you a simple 3-step process you can use for any sort of conversion. Okay. So how many of you are excited to see more results with less effort into your business? Type 1 in the chat so I know who you are. If you're on Facebook as well, I can see your Facebook chat. You're on the big screen over here. So type 1 if you're ready for that. All right. Let me see if I put on my chat so I can read as well. Awesome. All right. Thanks, Mark. Thanks, Vivek. All right. Good to see some familiar faces over here. All right. That's awesome. All right. Let me manage my screen a little bit. Okay. So thank you so much. Let's start right in. Okay. So first question: have any of you experienced or noticed this in your business? All right. You start the business excited. If it's not you, maybe your team members, they start the business excited. They did a few sales in the current network, and then suddenly you reach a slowdown because you run out of prospects. Anyone of you experienced this, you can type A on the chat. Or you notice your team members, this happening to your team members, type A on the chat. Okay, great. And some of you probably noticed that you're folding up your prospects. And if you notice, right, your prospects become less and less interested. If you ever experience this, type B. In fact, sometimes it becomes so awkward to even talk to your prospects. You can type B. All right. And number 3, you got your new team members in, right? And then they got into the business, they sign up, they love it, but then there's no urgency, no importance in the business. And it's so frustrating because you look at them, you're like, oh my God, there's money on the table. There's 2A, there's 3A, there's 4A. But what are they doing? They're doing nothing. How many of you felt like me? You're frustrated. You're frustrated like me. You see your team members come in, you see the money on the table, but they're not taking the money. And yet they're complaining to you, Francesco, I got no money, man. I feel so stuck in my job. Any of you experience this with me? Just type on the chat so I know who you guys are as well. Okay, because I do. And how many of you experience this? You keep trying, you keep pushing, but you can't get a breakthrough in your sales volume. You're stuck at 5 sales a month, 10 sales a month, 12 sales a month. You reach a moment that you're stuck. You can't go higher and higher. If you do, type D on the chat. And last but not least, some of you probably gone crazy doing this. You probably gone mad doing this. You keep trying to motivate your team. You keep trying to counsel your team. You try to talk to them. Your coffee talk lah, Kangen talk lah, and then you drink whiskey talk lah. All kinds of talk to get your prospects to do something. But they're not doing anything no matter what you do. Any one of you have ever tried doing this on the last one? Okay, type 5 on the chat. All right, and yet no matter what you do, you can't do anything. Great. Thanks, Sam. Thanks, Anthony, Sonia. So what I'm about to share with you is to address all of this. Okay, so stay put because here's what we're going to do. Okay, and you find this thing, if you find this content usable for your team, please share already. Please share onto your Facebook group or share into your WhatsApp group or share into your Facebook page so we can start getting people on to use these techniques already. Okay, and some people reach to this point. They try so many ways. They cannot get a breakthrough. They know that the destination is definitely worth it, but the journey seems so long. And sometimes you wonder at a certain point in this journey, hey, can I actually reach the destination? Sam Xia is saying the destination is so beautiful. Francesco said the destination is so beautiful. Michael Saw, Simon is saying the destination is so beautiful. But then you start to wonder, you have no doubt about the destination, but you're wondering, hey, when am I going to reach there, man? Am I going to die before I reach there? Or is it going to be another 2 years, 3 years, 5 years? And that's what actually gets people put off into the business. And you are not alone in this. Okay? See, let me share a little bit. Let me backtrack a bit. And when Sam talked about this, in March 2014, I signed up for the Kangen business. And in December 2013, I came for one of the events. And back then, it wasn't even called Essential Kangen Workshop. Okay? But I signed up in March 2014. And this is me in my early days. I'm doing demos, right? Doing lots of demos. I was demo, looking for sales, So in fact, I did so many demos. I was doing demos for free in the office. I would do 3 demos a week at certain times, free at the office. How many of you remember me doing demos in the Energic Malaysia office? In the old office. Type 3 on the chat if you remember me doing this in the old office. Whether there is a prospect, whether there's no prospect from me, I would do it because I thought that in my mind, okay, if I can master the demo, I can make more money in the business, right? So Sonia, thanks Sonia, Sam, Simon. I used to do demo for anyone who walked into the office. Okay, that's what I was doing. And it wasn't even my prospect. Someone bring their prospect, I do it. Why? And in fact, I was so crazy about the demo. I would watch Daniel DiMarcali speak all the time. I would watch Bob Gridelli speak all the time. Anyone of you know Daniel DiMarcali or Bob Gridelli? Type Bob or Del DiMarcale, right? I watched them so many times, I can repeat what he's saying, you know? I don't know, man. I'm some marketing guy, and I show this water, and oh my god, it's alkaline, you know. But this is acidic, man. No, like, you know, this his pattern, right? I'm following his pattern all the time, and just how much I've got absorbed into doing demos. Okay, so while I made some money with demos, and within 9 months, look, I just want to show you what happened to me. I've bought myself a first luxury car. It's a BMW 1 Series, and here am I bragging about it. You can see this is my old Instagram page. I made it private because I wasn't proud about bragging about it, you know, because there is a truth in this. There's something that I didn't share with people around my success with my beginning years of Kangen, beginning months of Kangen. Right? How many of you think in 9 months I could afford a nice car, right? A nice upgrade to a BMW 1 Series. You think this is awesome? Type awesome on the chat, right? Thanks, Sam. Awesome, right? Okay. So on the surface, it looks awesome. I'm going to tell you the truth. Okay. Here's how I really felt inside. And some of you may be able to relate to this. Some of you may see your team members going through this, not telling you. Okay. Here's what's happening in the back scenes of my finance. My rent was 2,400 a month, but 2,000, okay? My utilities was 500 ringgit a month. My living expenses was around 2,500 a month, you know, doing like, you know, entertaining people, petrol, you know, travel, you know, buying food for my parents and whatever, you know, so on and so forth. My car loan, my BMW had to pay 2,500 ringgit a month. My housing loan was 2,200 ringgit a month. And I got to fly to India. That was then I was flying to India every single month for flight, hotel bills and stuff. So practically, my expense every month is anywhere between 15,000 to 20,000 ringgit a month. For those of you who are non-Malaysian ringgit oriented, it's roughly around 2,000 to, I don't know, like probably 7,000 ringgit a month, US dollars a month, right? So practically, I had to keep up or die. Okay, so even though I had the BMW, even though I had that car to show people that I was successful, deep down inside, I'm struggling. I'm really struggling to stay afloat. And not only I was ashamed to tell my loved ones about what's going on. I didn't tell anyone what's happening inside me. You know, I was desperately afraid to become the MLM failure, to become the one that was too brave, that took the jump and failed. So I was desperately afraid, you know, because I made that upgrade, I made that new car, but deep down inside, I wasn't feeling that also comfortable. Okay, I was desperately trying to avoid that, you know. So this is what I did in my business. I was wondering, how can I go all wrong? I was doing demos, I was doing sales, I was doing prospecting. I did everything that I thought I was supposed to do, which is something which is not the X factor, right? So basically, I wore a mask every day. I was burnt out, not because I was physically exhausted, but I was emotionally exhausted to keep up with being someone who I'm not. And that's where the emotional exhaustion comes. How many of you will feel burnt out like me if you have to keep pretending to be someone that you're not, even to your loved ones? Type A on the chat. If you would feel the same as me, you'll be emotionally exhausted, right? Thanks for sharing. Thanks for your courage, for to be vulnerable with me, okay? But this is the reality. Today, I want to talk about this. This is the reality. If we do this, okay, and we don't want our team members to go through this. That's why I'm sharing this with you. Now, you're probably wondering as well, why am I sharing this with you, Thomas? You're talking about the X factor, you're talking about how to invite people, how to have success, all that. Why am I sharing this with you? For a simple reason, which is this. There is a cost. You see, the X factor is all about exponential growth, okay? Linear growth is like this. Exponential growth is like this, okay? There is a cost if you do not have exponential growth in your business, okay? Thanks, Hanan. There is a cost, all right? If you do not have an exponential growth, your lifestyle will eventually catch up with your income, and then you will struggle to keep up with your lifestyle, all right? So there is actually a cost, or in other words, exponential growth is the key to your success in your Kangen business. Because if you do not have it, the inevitable end is end of the road. The road is so long. Before you reach the destination, you would give up. Before you reach the destination, you would fail. You do not have the ability to keep going on forward. Okay. So what I'm about to share with you today is not just techniques, it's not just how to, but essentially it is the crux to what is a smooth journey to your destination, or one that would lead with heartache, long, like failures and trying to be someone who you're not. Okay, at least for me. Okay. So this is after I learned the exponential factor. This is where Sam invited me to come to India, and I'm so blessed to be able to take the opportunity. But even in India, the beginning few months, we didn't apply the X factor. We just did demos and sales and business opportunities. We didn't apply the X factor. And the moment we started applying it, okay, the moment we start doing it, this started to happen. We started to see a room full of people. We started seeing the room grow and grow and grow. How many of you would like to see results like this in your business? Type X on the chat. Exponential, X factor with the X. Okay. Of course, there are a lot of other factors of success, like, Sam is there, and we have amazing team members who join us, like Sami Podda, like Raju Manjreka, and all those other names, Sonia Sandhu. There's so many people who are involved. But more importantly, we didn't. The moment we applied this, I noticed the shift in the business. All right. Okay, I'm going to remove some of there's someone annotating over there. I'm going to erase it. All right, clear. All right, cool. Okay, someone is drawing something on the screen. If you don't mind to help me remove it, if you eraser. Let me see. Okay, I got it. I got it.
Okay,
I got it. All right. All right. So we look at exponential. Let's talk about exponential factor. What's the X factor, right? Anything we do, okay, if you're doing just demos and sales, you're looking at active income, linear results. Eventually, there's a limited growth and you get stagnant progress. You reach a point where your results cannot go up a higher dimension. You get stuck to a certain results, like 5 sales a month, or 10 sales a month, or 15 sales a month, or maybe you're 20 sales a month. You're stuck there. Okay. Anyone of you know somebody who, or know you are in that process, that no matter how much you shove and push, you cannot get more results. Okay. Type 4 on the chat. If you know you are that person, type 4 on the chat. Right? Great. Now, it's not your fault. It's actually not your fault. It's just that we need to have a shift in perspective. Okay? So, on the other side of the line, there are exponential results. There's life momentum, meaning to say the business is growing whether you like it or not. Okay? You have self-motivated team members, you have residual income, you have growth that is happening on a continuous basis. How many of you would like this? If you do, then pay attention to this, because we're going to talk about what it is. It is the X factor. The one thing that separates the both is just one thing. It's just one factor, which is the X factor. And my promise to you by the end of this session is that how the X factor unblocks the intrinsic. I'm going to share with you the X factor, but I'm going to share with you how the X factor unblocks the intrinsic abundant nature of your enagic business. Okay. What I'm trying to say is that there is an intrinsic, it's really built in there. There's nothing you need to do. It's already inside the 8 points, inside the enagic business. It's already there. You don't have to create something new. It's really inside there. All right. So you can start seeing a breakthrough result. Maybe you're stuck at, you're stuck at 5A, or maybe you're stuck at a certain level of income. Maybe you're stuck at a certain level of sales per month. You need to break through. If you unlock this, you're able to see those things and start seeing unbelievable momentum in your business. I say unbelievable with no, I'm not holding back. And this is the word I will use, because I cannot believe what is actually happening with the team right now in India. It is, in other words, unbelievable. Okay. So how many of you would like to start understanding how to use the X factor? Type X on the chat. If you're as excited as me, type double X. Okay? All right. Don't do triple X because it's something else. Yeah. Let's be joke a bit, lah. Right? It's gonna be so serious. Hey, thanks, Srivana. Thanks, Alpa, Anuja. All right. Thank you so much. All right. So grab yourself a pen and paper, and I want you to write this not only from what I'm saying here. Write this from, okay, how can I, what's been missing and how is this different from what I'm doing today? And as someone who trains, I used to train in the hotel. I used to train as well, and training has always been part of my life since 2014. I always tell my trainees, don't look at a speaker of what he's telling you. Listen to the speaker and think, how is it different than what I'm doing right now? Because this is no longer knowledge. This is called distinction. Distinction, okay? So listen to this content, and I want you to process, I want you to internalize it by asking the question, how is it different than what I'm doing today? Okay, because now you have actionable steps. When you're just listening, you're like, okay, I got the content, but it's not related to me. But if I can say, how is it different than what I'm doing right now, you can see the distinction. Okay, so how many of you understand the word distinction and what I'm saying? Type distinction on the chat. Distinction. Okay, so I want you to listen from that perspective. So let's go. All right, let's start with this. In order for me to, thank you, Francesco, thank you, Sally. In order for me to share with you the steps, we must first come upon a truth that is perhaps a little bit ugly to admit, but I'm holding nothing back from you, okay? The Energic business has completely changed my life, and I want it to happen for you too. Okay, so I want to hold nothing back from you. I want to unlock all this for you today. Here's the key truth. Demos and sales alone, see this long road, okay, right, does not give you exponential results. Now I'm a 6A2-2, okay, I'm not super high rank, but it's something I noticed that people who are beyond 6A and 6A2, okay, and 6A2-3-4 and earning a nice income in Energic, you will notice that demos and sales alone doesn't give you exponential results. A lot of my team members will ask, like, oh, how do I close sales better? How do I follow up better? How do I do? And I'm telling you, that is exactly what led me to doing this. You know, this is one of the demos I was doing. You can see, if you can really notice in this picture, I was kind of tired actually, because this is my 4th demo of the day. Okay. So yeah, and you can see that some of the guys in the back of the room, if you notice, right, they're going to walk out of the room because they didn't want to see the demo, right? I didn't apply the X factor, right? In fact, when you apply the X factor, you apply what I'm about to share with you, people will be listening to you, waiting for the next word you're about to utter, all right? Yes, all right? So if you like to, so basically I didn't apply any of this, right? Let me just continue on this one. So remember, demos only, if I did demos only, is what led me to be wearing the mask and pretending I was successful on the outside with my BMW, but deep down inside, I was emotionally burnt out. Okay? So what do we need to do then? What do we need to do if we need to shift out of it? Okay, now I'm not saying that I'm not saying stop doing demo. I'm saying that there are a shift, okay, on top of what we do as demo that is often not discussed, because we always think that the immediate problem is the problem, right? It's like a infection. When you get an infection, you think to stop the bleeding is the problem, right? But the issue that is more important is the long-term one. Do I get blood infection? Do I clean the wound properly? Do I tidy it up, right? So that is what we need to do, right? Not look at the immediate, which is sales and demo. That is the immediate, but we have to go deeper. So what do we need to do to shift? Okay. So some people, they just keep going until they get burnt out. They rest and they burnt out, and they rest and they burnt out. They go in this cycle, okay, of burnout and resting and burnout and resting. Okay. For some people, they get burnt out and they walk away. For some people, they see it's too damn difficult. I just don't want to do it. And that's what I meant, that this is so important to shift your business. Okay. So what do we need to do to shift? Okay, I'm going to give you an example like this, a good example. This is me in my car. Some of you may recognize this car. It's a 1988 BMW E30 318i. And I recently fell in love with classics. And boy, this car is, I just took it to KKB, took it for a drive. And I absolutely love this car, okay? So if some of you, and one of you know this car, please type BMW in the chat if you know this car, this exact model over here, okay? In fact, I sold my my Mercedes C43, a modern 2018 car, for this car over here. 380 horsepower for 110 horsepower. There's something really beautiful about this car over here. Some of you, if any one of you know this car, type BMW in the chat. All right. So I took this car on the right, and why am I using this as a shift? Okay, Tengku Idris, you are right. I want to show you something. My car is a manual. Okay, my car is a manual. Exactly what we need to do in our business is like a gearbox. We got to shift our business. Okay. Now I want you to understand. I want you to understand why what I'm about to share with you today. Okay. How many of you like to have less effort but more results? Type 2 on the chat. Less effort, more results. Okay. Thanks, Simon, Aria, all right, Anthony, Turbo Team, Simon, Hosnia, Cheryl. Okay. So understand this: when you're on low gear, okay, it's good for quick acceleration to get you up fast and going. It is high effort but also highly stressful. When you put on gear 1 and gear 2, you're going, the engine is working so hard to get the car moving, right? Okay. So even when the engine is working so hard, for you to drive 15 minutes is scary because it's tiring. You have to work so hard to drive 15 minutes, right? And there's a risk of breaking down because it's revving up so high. You're burning up so much petrol, and there's a risk of breaking down because you're overheating the engine, right? And if you're going to a high gear, right, less effort, high speed is sustainable. It reaches its destination. And because you can reach a destination, you can keep going to next and next and next and next destination. And that's what I mean about high gear. The downside of high gear is that you need to go to gear 1, gear 2, gear 3 to go slowly up. So you need the acceleration from the low gear, but you don't want to stay in the low gear for long. Now, how many of you are getting this already? That demos and sales and follow-up is low gear. You start there. You can't just start your car and put into gear 5, right? You got to start with gear 1. But unfortunately, okay, most people, they stuck in gear 1. Or they watch their friends who are in business and they say, oh my God, this is the life. They always stuck in gear 1. So they don't want to do the business. Or they have a perception that business is always about gear 1. Okay. And that's why people don't get out of it, right? They get burned out, the cycle back and forth. All right. Then after you finish gear 1, you got to go to gear 2, then gear 3, gear 4, gear 5, the high gears. Okay. So in essence, low gear is prospecting, demos, closing, follow-up. It is fast acceleration. It gives you fast results. And something that Bernard Chan, one of my early day mentors as well, said that, Thomas, do you know a secret about the energetic business? Okay. The good news for our business is our 8 points is so delicious. The bad news is our 8 point is very delicious also. So people get stuck in the 8-point sale, right? Okay. And the high gear is the X factor about to share with you. Okay. So what is this X factor we're talking about? I'm talking about low gear, high gear, all of this. What is this X factor? It's actually promoting events. This is the X factor of a business. There is nothing else. For most of you who are here watching this video, you're probably a distributor. I can tell you one thing. There's nothing else more powerful you can learn than the power of promoting events. How many of you can agree with this type events on the chat? Okay. If you agree, look, Sam Sia agrees with it. Promoting events is one of the most powerful skills you can ever acquire inside your network marketing journey, in your Kangen business. It is events. Okay. Now, I noticed something about Sam, and this is not a direct insult to Sam because look, I have a lot of respect for Sam, but I noticed that he's very good at one thing. He's great at he's good at doing demo. Okay, he's great at doing business plan, but he's damn like a bull. He's like stubborn like a bull when it comes to promoting events. Very stubborn. He will follow up so hard for you to get into an event. That's how important, not by words, by his actions, shows events is to his business. And that's something I really noticed eventually. So for the first few months in India, okay, we did a lot of demos and sales. We didn't run our Essential Kangen workshop as we see today, right? And therefore, we were stuck. 7 sales, 2 sales, like we were below the marker. But when the moment we started, I remember the first time we did it, all right, was in Mumbai. We did it in the Courtyard Marriott, right? Sam, I don't know if you remember that. We did in Kodak Marriott in a small little room, all right? And that was when we started and we realized that, oh my God, this is what's going to happen. We're going to do the demos and then we're going to spend a lot of time to get people into this event. So we started shifting gears into it and the results just open up. It just open up, okay? How many of you here remember, and this is just to prove to you something powerful about events, yeah? Can all the 6As and above here, can you type 6A inside here? Can you type 6A, or if you are 6A, so type here 6A, okay? Thank you, Sonia, Simon, Rashma, okay, Cora, 6A and above, yeah? And above, okay? Thank you, Cora, thank you, Gurpreet, Vivek, Aaron. Okay, check this out. Okay, I want you to notice something on the chat. Don't look at me, look at the chat, okay? For those who are watching on Facebook, you can't read this. There are a lot of people typing 6A. Okay, any one of you here has achieved 6A. Okay, listen to the question carefully. Without actually attending any events. Without attending events. Look at the answers. No, 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 no. Isn't that a hint for you that it's like a rite of passage? You need to go through events in order to be a 6A. I hope you're catching it. Okay. In fact, the ones who reach 6A and above, they attend multiple times. So if it's so important for this examples here, thank you, Muhammad Kama, Alan, Simon, Cora, everyone who said yes, then how about your team members? Don't you think that it's important for them to then attend events so that you can have many 6As in your team? If there's anything that you should be duplicating in your team, more than just the demos and sales, are events. And that's what Sam is doing. EKW is a duplication effort. Duplicate, okay? Just that alone completely changed the business. That's shifting gears, okay? And this is not only by my words or by the evidence you see here. Eric Warren in his book, GoPro, the seventh step, right? The seventh step, which is promoting events, okay? And if you really read the books, it is one of he talks about it as if the real multiplier for business when you promote events, right? And yes, the attitude is to never never stop learning, because there's always something to learn. If we, there is a disease called IKEA. IKEA, you know what's IKEA? I know everything already. I know everything already. That's the disease that stops us from learning and growing. Okay? So let me so if events are so amazing, now I want to be the black hat today, right? If events are so amazing, this is where I'm going to share with you how to make things easier for your life, right? If events are so easy, why aren't we all doing this? So let me ask this question. Have you experienced this? Have you experienced, you explain all the benefits to your event, right? You tell your invitees about all the amazing people they can meet. There's Thomas Yap, there's Simon, there's Mingwei, there's Cora, there's Sam, there's, Vivek Bhatnagar, all these guys, okay? And all the knowledge they can learn, okay? You put your heart and soul and speak so passionately from the bottom of your soul out to the heavens. You're telling people about the event and how it changed your life. Okay? But your prospects hesitate to give you a firm yes. They find an excuse, always have other important matters to attend to. They show up, but they feel obligated, right? In the event room, you can see last time, right? Now in EKW, you can't see it. They turn off their screen, right? Right? They show up, but they feel obligated, right? Or they get distracted during the events. Okay? Worse still, they leave in the middle of the event, right? And even worse still, they start ghosting you because you invited them and they say no and they stop replying to your messages. They're afraid that you keep inviting them again. How many of you have experienced this before? In your team or your team members doing that? Or type me on the chat if you've experienced this in your team. All the above, thank you very much. How many of you experience the same feeling? You behave like this when someone asks you to go to another event, whether it's a religious event or social event. you did any one of this. It's fine to admit that. You can type I if you exhibited this attitude. You can type me if you have seen this with your prospects and your invitees, right? Great. So thank you for those who are admitting it. Simon, Cora, Leon, Silvana. What I'm trying to demonstrate is that, look, we are humans. So we will have this kind of behaviors. All right. So in order to have success, to invite people to your events, or a success to get people to persuade them to do something, you must come to the reality of this. Okay. So if you invite the improper way, okay, majority of times you will experience this. But if you invite the proper way, you create the right circumstances, you will see far better results. And that's why a lot of people don't invite people to journey, because they experience this kind of bad results. That's why they don't invite people. They don't promote events. They just do what is familiar. Demo, sale, demo, sale, demo, sale. That's why people revert to doing demos and sales, because although that is the long road, because it is the familiar road, the gear one that leads them to burn out, it is the familiar road. Okay. So today, I want to help you shift out of that. Okay. I have a framework for you that's easy to use, easy to follow. You can use it for invitees, okay, to be interested from the get-go. Can you imagine that the first 2-3 sentences, your invitees are interested? Your invitees will feel it's so important that they start putting their work away or start scheduling their time to attend the event, right? Your invitees attend the event with full attention and interest, taking notes as if their future depends on it. What if I told you there's a framework for this? And in fact, this is the same framework, okay, that not only helped us launch India in 2015, but also help me run huge events like this. In this one, we have around 220 plus people, right? You can see me at the very bottom over there, lying down there in front there, right? Can you see me? Anyone can see me? Type Thomas if you can see Thomas at the bottom over there. All right. Not seeing me? Okay. You know what? I'm gonna draw. Okay. Okay. I can't draw if it's this over here. Okay. Fine. It's in the bottom there. The one lying down, over there at the bottom there. All right. So this is the same frameworks I use to run events. And for those of you who may know me from before, I also am a trainer. So I run events like this. We have 200 people. How do we invite so many people to come to this event? There must be how do we have this? And this is only, mind you, we were less than a year into our business and we're able to do this already. So how many of you are ready to start applying this, right? If you are, come on, let's go. Okay. Oh yeah, before this, I put this in. I need a promise from all of you. You see, the framework I'm about to share with you is highly controversial and potentially manipulative. Okay, I spent up to $30,000 on learning, attending courses, mentoring, masterminds, and the 30,000 is what I spent just to learn how to speak, learn how to do copywriting with Kenneth. Some of you may know Kenneth, masterminds from people who are already using these frameworks, and I'm just merely converting to make it easy for people to use. Now, what I started to notice is these frameworks are extremely manipulative. It's very controversial because it's not common knowledge. It's actually counterintuitive, but it works. Okay. So I need a promise for you, which is this. I want you to use this to only, it's not written over here. I need you to promise you that you use these techniques to only empower people and not to put people down, because it can put people down. If anyone of you can promise me that, please type 1 on the chat. Okay. Use it to empower people only. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Gurpit. Thank you. Thank you, Doctor. Thank you, Sally, Shyam Sundar. All right, Desmond. Thank you so much. Okay. And you will start to see later when I share the concepts, you realize that, oh my God, it is that simple to actually get someone to be persuaded. Okay. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Okay. And I hope that you use it for the empowerment for other people. Okay. So this will make your invitings much easier. And this is a master framework, the 3 core principles, right, to masterfully persuade, to have strong, motivated decisions from your invitees or prospects. Strong, motivated decisions. You want your decisions from your prospect to be strong and motivated and not flake out. That's not what you want, right? All right. So let's go. Here's the first principle. 97% of people in the world are actually irresponsible. Now, I know some of you are probably thinking, wait, you're talking about me? Yes, I mean you too, and I mean me too. Okay, all of us in some way, shape, and form have irresponsibilities in our lives. And I'm not doing this to again insult you or insult anybody. It is just a nature of human beings. Because after all, if we are all responsible, okay, if you're all responsible, aren't we all 682-5, or we have six packs, have amazing love lives, have great relationships, and living in big mansions and be loved by everybody? Of course not, right? If we are responsible, we just make it happen, right? The simple concept is this, right? In order to encapsulate this, okay? Anyone of you heard this phrase before? The grass is greener on the other side. So if the grass is greener on the other side, why don't we just cross the side to get to the grass that's greener on the other side? Why don't we just do it? Right? Why don't we just do it? Why don't your prospects say, oh, in magic business is so good, why don't I just do the business? If the Kangen water is so good, why don't I pay $4,000 to get the SD501? All right? If the thing is so good, why don't I just do it? So we got to ask that question. What is the resistance? Okay? So it's also mentioning to you that you do not have to promote what is on the other side. That is not a master persuader. That's not what they do. The master persuader doesn't tell you what is on the other side. The master persuader talks about this thing, the resistance, and break down the resistance. The reason why we don't cross, because it's dangerous. It's dangerous to cross. There is a price to pay, right? And that's why people don't cross it. Now, how many of you are getting some ideas right now? I'm going to put it all together to in the end, but I want you to catch these core principles. In fact, if you apply these 3 core principles in anything that you do with your prospects, in sales, in networking, in everything, you're going to start seeing some amazing results. Okay, results that are unbelievable in your marketing, in your copywriting, everything. Okay, if you start getting some ideas, type idea on the chat. Start getting some ideas already. Type on the chat. So, second thing I want to share with you, which is this: people don't want to cross the road because it's dangerous, which is related to core principle number 2. Most people are more motivated to avoid failure and pain than to have success. Now, verbally, people talk about success. They talk about, here's what I want to do. Here's what I want to go. I want more money. I want more health. I want to be fit. I want to be sexy. I want to be all of this. Okay? But when it comes to the crunch time, don't watch what they say. Watch what they do. People are more motivated to avoid failing because inevitably, to be successful, we have to fail, so we learn to be successful. Yes or no? Those of you agree, type yes. If you agree, yes or no, type yes. In order to be successful, we have to fail to be success. So people are afraid to fail. People are afraid to pay the price for success. So when they talk about success, and when the price comes, okay, the closer they get to the success, to the action, the failure becomes more powerful. So they are more motivated to avoid failing than to acquire success. Now, I hope this is sinking in for you. Okay? Here's how we mostly promote events. We talk about the good things about events. You can be successful, you can learn this, there's great seafoods, all this. We talk about all the benefits. Okay? But those are on the conscious level motivating them. But the unconscious level, people are looking at the things, the things that they are afraid to pay with. So what are they afraid of? Okay, what kind of danger? What if I fail doing the business? Let's talk about the reason you invite people to EKW, for example, is to get them to be on board the business. Okay, so we use the events to close the bridge. Okay, close the bridge. So the question is, what if I fail doing the Kangen business? So Kangen business is so great. Why don't I just do the business? If I can, look, Simon is making money in the business. He's doing pretty well. He has a nice BMW. He's learning so much. Look at him, he's traveling all around the world. If I want to be like him, I just have to get involved in the business. But they don't, because what if I fail? What if I wasted my money? What if I get humiliated by my friends and my family? What if other people will look down on me doing this business? What if my friends and family will think about me? All these are the things that is stopping somebody from crossing to the green side. Hence, back to principle number 1, people are irresponsible. All right. Because if they are responsible, they will just be responsible of the failures and move forward, like most of you over here, correct? But most people don't. That's why they don't take action. So in order for us to get them to take action, we need to speak this language to them. Okay. Now, how many of you are getting ideas already? That hey, wait, hold on a minute. The way I'm inviting, has it been? How many started to notice that you get some ideas that you need to shift the way you're inviting right now? I'm going to put it all together for you in the end. Now, the third one is this. Now, this one is potential. Let me put this up. All right. This one is potentially highly controversial. And this is something which gets me a bit worried to share this with people, because this is the reality. Okay. Because when you can understand this, this is extremely powerful. Okay. Let me just remove that. Can we stop annotating it? Sorry. Okay, cool. So, dark emotions that move people. Okay. Since we agreed now that 97% of people are irresponsible, that people are more afraid to fail and the consequence of failing, they're more motivated to avoid the failing than to acquire success. All right. So now how do we use all of that to get people to take action? This is the one, dark emotions that move people. Okay. This is very subtle and really powerful. Okay. So let's move on to this. And I'm not talking about anger, worry, anxious, sadness, irritated, uncertain. These are called bad emotions. I'm not talking about dark emotions. Okay. I'm talking about dark. And let me explain to you what dark means. Okay. Depression, desperation, loneliness, abandonment, disconnected, fearful, imprisoned, shame, guilty. The difference between bad emotion and dark emotion is this. Okay. The distinction is this. People will do whatever it takes to avoid feeling. Most people will do whatever it takes to avoid feeling the dark emotions. They don't mind feeling a little bit of bad emotions, but dark emotions, no. It's a taboo. Okay. So with that, there's a lot of emotional charge, a lot of motivation for people to do something, to avoid feeling depression, to avoid feeling desperate, to avoid feeling lonely, to avoid feeling shameful, to avoid feeling guilty. People do their best to avoid that. Okay, that is their main motivator of what helps us do what we do. It's a very dark part of psychology, and there's a lot of research has been done for it. Brené Brown is one of it. She talks about how people do their best to avoid being shamed, to feel, not even just to not to be ashamed, but to feel shameful is also like it's a bad thing. So how many of you can actually relate to this? Type yes on the chat. You can relate to what I'm talking about. Okay, dark emotions that move people. Okay, so if you use all of this, thanks Alan, thanks Francesco, Anthony, Cora, Aaron. So if you can use all of these three things, we have to change fundamentally how we propose someone to be invited to an event. Okay, we have to change from here is all the good news and all the benefits of the event. And that's what I used to do. Okay, I admit it, I used to do it. Here's all the benefit. It's good for you. You can scale a business. It's important for your business, so on and so forth. Everyone gets it. They get it, but they don't do anything about it. Not because the event is not good. Okay, not because what you say is not true, but because we didn't reach a level of influence with our prospect or invitees that inspire them to take action. Dark emotions that move people. They move because they don't want to feel this. Okay. In essence, right, the devil is the motivator. I know it's a funny joke, but I don't say devil. The ox is the motivator, right? The horn, right? This is the year of the ox, right? So in essence, the devil, which is the one on the left side, motivates people more than the other ox, the Lamborghini, People say, oh, look, I have a Lamborghini, I'm successful, Ferrari, whatever. So it is a little joke I want to throw in, because I know it's a bit dark. I put this in purpose to create a joke to lighten things up. In essence, the darkness is what moves people to the light. Okay. So there's no point flashing about my success and here's what I got, here's what my upline got, so on and so forth. The real thing that moves people is they don't want to feel all these emotions. Now, how do we put it all together? Now, I'm going to pause for a moment. I got a little bit of time. I got some Q&A session time in the end. How many of you noticed that I've started to use this framework from the very get-go in the beginning? If you noticed, type noticed on the chat. You noticed that I was using it already. And how many of you noticed that because of that, you're listening, you're like, okay, tell me more, show me more. What's happening? Like, what's next? Right? So I want you to notice that this framework is something that I use for everything that I do. All right. For my events that I run when I was running my training business, for how we started to get people into the events. Right. If you started noticing it, type notice on the chat. Okay. That I'm starting to use everything that I'm sharing already. Okay. So I'm going to put it all together for you as an example. And I'm going to open up the floor later on for someone to maybe you ask me how, let me use this and just change your invitation to that. Okay. So I'm going to give you an example. I just typed this script out like while the Kangen sharing was going on. I was just typing this script out. So it's just a go. Okay. So check, listen to this script. Okay. Okay. Let's say inviting somebody. I know we've all been looking for a way to increase our income, especially in times that increasing income is a necessity, no longer a luxury. One of the ways, of course, to start a business, right? But if it's so simple, why most people haven't done it? See, irresponsibility. Okay, it's okay. It's okay to be irresponsible because there are possibilities to succeed, but it's also chance to fail. The failure rate is so high. That's why no one does business. If everyone can succeed in business, why don't they do it already? See, I'm saying it's not your fault. It's not your fault that you didn't do business. It's not your fault that you didn't increase your income. I agree with you. It is dangerous. See, I'm leaning towards the side of irresponsibility. Okay, and when we fail, it's more than losing money, right? See, I've got into a business with the most optimism, and I was working 8 to 12 hours a day, doing presentations, learning about the products, finding new customers, going for all the trainings, all right? But in just 3 months, I was broke, and I wasn't able to pay my rent. I remember at the checkout counter with IKEA with my girlfriend at that time, I couldn't even pay for the bill. So she paid for the bill. The discomfort only came when I looked into the mirror after I packed all the things into my car while my girlfriend was paying. And I was alone in the car and looked myself in the mirror. And at first I got so confused. How did I get here? I did everything I'm supposed to do. I worked so hard. I was honest to everyone. But why am I broke? And I can't even afford to pay my bill. That's the next idea that came out. How about my next month's rent? I'm going to tell my landlord. What I'm going to tell my girlfriend if I don't have the petrol to go, to money to pump the petrol, that's why I can't go out to see her. What I'm going to tell my parents and my friends and relatives because of my decision to be an entrepreneur broke me. And see, this is the reality. The ultimate cost of not doing business is not the monetary risk. It is a psychological risk. And I don't blame you. That's why no one does it. That's why you can't take the jump yet. I understand, right? It's way too high. But what if there's a way to reduce that risk? You can learn the ways to avoid making the same mistake as I did and many did. We can equip you with the tools, the access to mentors, systems, and everything so that you don't have to fail and figure out like we did. Would you be open to see if that's possible? Now, have I spoken anything about the event? Nothing. But how many of you notice a powerful shift? I started to create motivation within you, even just listening to the script. You are motivated to do something. Why? I subtly agreed about irresponsibility. I showed you the cost of failing the business is something that is really, really dark. Shameful. I don't want to be ashamed. I don't want to be that failure to my family. I cannot talk to my parents. I can't tell anyone about it. That is what drives people to say, see, that is what is stopping them from becoming successful in the business. You provide them the training to overcome so they don't have to feel those things. And that is how you need to promote your events. And that is how you need to promote everything that you do. It is a way to not feel those things. It's a way to avoid feeling those things. Right? Then from here, if the person says yes, You open up the Essential Kangen workshop to them. As what Sam said in the definition of selling, people's willingness to listen. At this point, do you think my prospect and my invitee is highly interested, highly open, highly willing to listen to me? Yes or no? Highly, right? Okay, I got another 6 minutes left. All right. If you don't mind, if you don't mind, can give me an extra 5 minutes to wrap everything up, because I want to share with you an additional thing. Is that okay? If it's okay, type okay on the chat. Right. Now, how many of you started to notice how powerful these things can be and how manipulative it can be? All right. The key is not to talk about what you are selling or what you're inviting them to. The key is to create those 3 core fundamentals thing. Right. Thank you so much. All right. I promise to give you a lot more value for that 5 minutes. Right. You know, number 1 is 97% of people are responsible. Okay, people are more motivated to avoid failing. And number 3, okay, dark emotions that move people. If you can incorporate that in your pitch, in your invitation, okay, you will see that the tables start to change. I can give you another example. The one I love to use, my own personal one. Okay, how many of you are ready for my own personal pitch? Type 1, and I'll open up for someone to give me your pitch, and then I help you turn into something that you can use. All right, thanks. So let's say I finish my demo, I show my business plan, and the person don't want to buy the machine or don't want to get into the business, right? They are holding back, right? So I'll say this. You mind if I share you a quick story before we end? They say yes. Okay, sure. Right? It was 6:45 a.m. I was in my car, in my Honda City IDSI, okay? And I was crying, I was screaming, I was hitting my hand on the steering wheel. And I just don't want to go to work. Why? Because I'm tired. For the last 8 days, I was working 12 hours, 15 hours, 18-hour shifts every single day. And all I wanted to do is to sleep. I just wanted to sleep. Have you ever gotten so tired that all you want to do is to sleep? But at the end of the month, you know, I don't have enough money to pay. I just have enough money to pay everything. And that's it. I cannot go on another month without any paycheck. I have no savings. So essentially, I'm stuck in a job that I have to be in. So that was the moment I promised myself, Thomas, you have to give yourself, you have to find a better way to make this happen. If the opportunity comes to you, you have to be open to it, because this is not better. Okay, I can't do it. If someone can do it, stay in the corporate life, they can do it. I cannot do it. Thomas cannot do it. I'm really breaking down. Okay. Not long after, that was 2013. At the end of the year, someone named Sam Sia came into my life. And he told me about this business that he was doing. And at first I was like, it's just this water thing that my dad was talking about the whole time, right? But I did remember the time I gave myself a promise that I am going to be open to an opportunity. So I said yes. I said, let me find an off day. In fact, I moved my off day. Being a manager, I can move my off day to come to the event that was running, because it was so important to me, because I needed to find a way. And even just half a day in the event, I knew this was what I needed to do. Fast forward 7 years, I'm in this business. That the opportunity I allowed myself to be open to. And today, not only I have enough money to live the life comfortably, to enjoy life a little bit, but to also donate, give some to my mom and dad, right? They donate the money, but it's a nice way to give something to my mom and dad. I get to work 2 hours a day, 70 hours a day. I choose. I work when I want to work. And that because I'm open to an opportunity. Are you open as well to see how that can happen for you? So that's my pitch, right? I haven't talked about the Essential Kangen workshop. I haven't talked about anything of that. I give you a hint that's what I'm about to talk about, that event, right? That's it, right? So I dragged my pitch a bit longer, but you understand how 3 things, right? I covered everything, okay? I covered 97% irresponsibility, right? I said, see, some people can do it. I cannot do it. I'm not good enough to stay in the corporate world. I'm not responsible. See? Okay. I talked about my dark emotions. I'm stuck in the work, in a job, right? I cannot quit. Okay, I'm stuck. I'm crying. I'm screaming in my car, right? And third, right, there's the dark emotions, right? And third, I was talking about the dark emotions, right? So if you encapsulate all the points, the core principles, you see that it's easy to get a yes from somebody. Okay. So right now, what I'm going to do is that if someone, I don't even have time for it, if someone doesn't mind to, if you like to, tell me how you would normally invite, and let me help you apply these three core principles. Or if you have a question to ask, please ask. Let me answer the questions right now for the next 5 minutes, and I wrap it up. All right. So this is a summary while we're waiting for questions and answers. That
Thomas,
87% of people are
you can
irresponsible.
extend the time, Thomas.
Yep. Everyone says
You're
okay
doing
for 5
well.
minutes extra. All right. Most people are motivated to avoid failure and pain than to have success. And the third one, dark emotions that move people. Okay. You don't have to tell people your emotions. You have to describe to them what you were in so they feel the emotions they need to feel. Okay. So, any questions so far? Anyone? How many of you have noticed, or maybe you want to share, like what distinctions you have gotten by listening to this? Like, wait, hold on a minute. Am I doing things? So how do I change my things? Any one of you would like to share your distinctions as well? I'm open for you to share so everyone gets more value. Okay, so if there's no one that want to come on the microphone to share, please share on the chat what distinctions you are learning from this. See, the point I'm trying to drive home in this 1 hour is that if you just run up to your prospects and just tell, number one is events are important, but number two, in order for people to come to our events, to use the events as the X factor, because the events is the X factor, right? But how do you get people to go into the X factor is you have to use these three core principles. All right, rather than telling them the event is good, you learn so much, you learn A, you learn B, you learn C, you learn D. But you go around in not just an invitation, in everything that you do that has these things. All right, when those of you who are early days in Essential Kangen Workshop in India, you remember that when we sell Essential Kangen Workshop, you'll spend half an hour to sell it sometimes, because it's so important. And yet, when we sell the Essential Kangen Workshop, we talk about these are the things you're afraid of. Here's how we resolve them through Essential Kangen Workshop. That's why people come up to the event. All right. Okay. So I hope that you guys got value from this. Thank you so much for sharing. Before I end and pass the floor back, I just want to share one last thing. To understand the concept of why, to encapsulate the concept of almost like human, why we do what we do. Okay. And this is a bit philosophical, maybe a bit spiritual for some people, but let me just put it in a very simple way. All right. In a battle of good and bad, light and dark, what is more important? What is more important in this process? Is it who wins, the light or the dark? The good guy or the bad guy wins? What is more important? Actually, the answer is none of those. Those are not so important for you as the viewer or as the experiencer of light and dark. Okay, good or bad. What is more important is this. Now, this is this a dawn or is it a dusk? Anyone can tell me. Is the sun rising or the sun going down? We don't know. We don't know at all. You see, our future of light and dark is suspended over here. Like it's going to be good or we don't know. So what is more important is not the light or the dark. What is more important is the movement. Is it going to be is it going to be sunrise or is it going to be sunset? We are watching the movement. When a bad guy fights a good guy or watch a movie, a good guy, bad guy, we are not rooting for the person to win. We are not only rooting for the person to win, we are watching the movement, the back and forth movement, which is we are watching the movement. We're not watching the person. We're not watching, to that. So in essence, this is really deep. It's like that is the more important factor. Why am I sharing this with you? If you can think about persuasion as this, you can think about sales as this, you can think about inviting as this. Most of our prospects are in some way or another feel that they're sitting in the dark in their life. Okay. It is our job to create that movement so they can go to the light. Not to just shine the light. We don't have to shine the light because the light is there. You understand what I'm saying? The light is there. What is more important? The master orchestrator, the master persuader doesn't focus on the light. The master persuader creates movement. If it's darkness that they have to use, they will use it as long as movement is created. So, in essence, don't be afraid to sometimes use a bit of darkness to create relationship, to create relatability, to create empathy. So people will start moving towards the light. And how deep we can go depends on how deep we can go with ourselves as well, how vulnerable we can be. In essence, this is a very powerful way to speak, but it also requires you to be open to your prospects as well, to touch those experiences that you may not want to touch. Okay, the darkness, but for the purpose of creating the movement towards the light. Okay, so I hope this sharing has been great. I'm really done with my sharing, and if you want to, oh, by the way, I'm going to upload new network marketing sales content on YouTube. It's going to be free. It's YouTube. Okay, there's no data collection whatsoever. I decided to start dumping all my library of thoughts from my mentors, from all my learnings into YouTube once a week. I put it up there. It is just created today because I've been talking about creating this for a long time. I thought I'd start it today. It's a YouTube channel. It doesn't cost anything at all. You can just go and click subscribe, and then you can use any of the content that's over there. And if you want to watch my personal YouTube channel, I do car reviews sometimes for fun. I talk about my vlogs and stuff. It's fun over there. And if you want to chat with me, you can just reach out to me on Instagram and just say hi to me over there. All right. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching, everybody. I am done, and I'll pass it on back to Sam. And I hope that you can use this information to invite people to the next EKW and the next, and everything that you do. Right. With that, I'll pass it back to Michael Saw and Sam Sia. All right. Love you guys. And as always, keep it 100%. Thanks.